Constitutional Review Commission, the TRRC, National Human Rights Commission, Banter Commissions of Inquiry, and several other legislative reform undertakings. Speaking to the press this afternoon, the former Justice Minister outlined some major successes registered in his tenure. By Ibrahim Cham was in Banjo.
The outgoing minister shared with the press the challenges and achievements of the Ministry of Justice and the government as a whole in establishing a swift and substantial transitional justice reform process.
On my part, I have initiated and delivered on the key pillars of our transitional justice process, which has now achieved global recognition by experts as being among the best models in the world, particularly for its inclusiveness and originality. Some other key milestones include the successful gazetting of a new draft constitution without amendment, the establishment of a Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission process, which is currently underway, the establishment of the Gambia's first National Human Rights Commission, and the establishment of the Jammeh Commission to inquire into the financial corruption of former President Jammeh, and as a result of which the government has been able to recover over $1.1 billion so far.
Legislative reforms have been a top priority during his tenure in office, mentioned Batambedu, considering the systematic damage to the justice system by the former government.
On legislative reform, between 2017 and 2020, the ministry has introduced and or revised a total of 47 different pieces of legislation affecting different sectors of government. 26 of these have become law, and 23 are now before the National Assembly for consideration.
Being a staunch advocate for justice for victims of gross human rights violations during the Jammeh era, the outgoing minister reassured the victims that justice will prevail, and for the supporters of the return of Jammeh to wake up from that dream.
To the victims of human rights violations and abuses during 22 years of Jammeh's rule, you will get justice. I have always had you in mind at every stage of our transitional justice process, and I have been committed and dedicated to your cause since the first day I was appointed. I am aware that my principled position on former President Jammeh has not endeared me to his supporters and sympathizers. And to them, I say, Jammeh belongs to the past. So wake up from your dreams of a Jammeh political comeback and move on with your lives. He has caused too much pain and suffering to the people of this country throughout his 22-year reign of terror, as the TRRC keeps revealing.
Mr. Tambedu made a rundown of the great achievements the Barrow administration has achieved in regaining the trust of the international community by upholding the strong values of democracy, human rights, and the rule of law.
We signed and or ratified a number of international treaties, including the UN Convention Against Torture, the UN Optional Protocol on the Abolition of the Death Penalty, the UN Convention Against Enforced and Involuntary Disappearance, and the African Charter on Democracy, Elections, and Governance. We successfully submitted our combined periodic reports for the first time since 1985 to the UN Human Rights Council on the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and our combined periodic report for the first time since 1994 to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. More significantly, we became one of only 7 countries at the moment in Africa to make a declaration pursuant to Article 34(6) of the Protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the establishment of an African court to allow individuals to have direct access to the court.
The Attorney General ended his speech by thanking his colleagues, family, and staff for the immeasurable support rendered to him during the daunting task of putting the Gambia back on its feet. Unfortunately for the surprise of the press, he didn't take any questions. Reporting for GRTS News, I'm by Ibrahim Chan.
And now Rotarians have joined the fight to contain COVID-19 in the Gambia. The Kotu Rotary Club presented face masks to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mariam Jack Denton, following her recognition as an honorary member of the Rotary Club of Kotu. Winifred Nicole has details in this report.
Rotarians have joined efforts to contain COVID-19 with interventions complementing ongoing national endeavor. These masks were presented by the Rotary Club of Kotu for onward distribution to the office of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mariam Jack Denton, who has been recognized by the Rotary Club for her commitment to service delivery.
As a pioneer, history of the Gambia and the world will recognize you as not only the first female lawyer of the Gambia, but the first lawyer cross-cutting the gender, first lawyer in the Gambia. As a sister, you are not alone. You have siblings. I might be tempted to call you sister as we belong to the same craft, as a member of Law Society of Ontario and the Bar Association of Ghana.
The National Assembly, according to Speaker Jack Denton, shares similar values with the Rotary Club of Kotu in its promotion of education and advocacy for women and children's rights.
When I received the information that you wanted to come and present these gifts of appreciation of the very paltry sum that I gave, I could not even remember it. The majority leader had to jog my memory. I said, well, maybe, but I really can't remember. But notwithstanding, it shows how you value it. It shows how you appreciate it. And we always say that it is not the amount, but the gesture that is behind it that matters. And for me also, on my part and that of my office and my family, we appreciate your appreciation, as our Nigerian friends would say.
Speaking at the brief ceremony, the majority leader of the National Assembly, Honorable Keba K. Barrow, who is also a Rotarian, thanked the Speaker of the National Assembly for her donation and acceptance of the honorary membership granted to her as recognition for her efforts in the development of the club's grassroots project to ensure that vulnerable communities have access to clean water.
I must say that I was convinced by our sister, Masa, who had been a close friend and then has introduced me to the Rotary Club of Kotu, going through the values and coming from the development arena. I was so passionate that this is an issue that will help me to continue to work with the vulnerable members of our communities, that the women and children, and ensuring that improving the educational status of the most vulnerable and also the rural folk, providing water and sanitation to them was very key.
Described as a wonder woman by Rotarians, Speaker Jack Denton is now an honorary member of the Rotary Club of Kotu, which is looking to utilize her membership as a beacon and role model for new and young members joining the club. Reporting for the news, I am Winifred Nicole.
And now 26th June is World Drug Day, observed annually around the world as the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking. The commemoration is a critical juncture to highlight the negative impact of drugs and illicit substances on health and global development. The Minister of Interior, Honorable Yankuba J. N. Sanko, delivered statement on Friday to mark the occasion. Take a listen.
Fellow Gambians, today, 26 June, is observed annually around the world as International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking, commonly known as World Drug Day. By Resolution 42/112 of December 7, 1987, the General Assembly decided to celebrate each year on June 26th to highlight the dangers of drug use and their illicit trade, and provide educational material to teachers and public officials all over the world. This to help spread the message about the extreme culture and economic harm the trade in drugs is still doing across the globe, 100 years after the war on drugs was initially launched in Shanghai around the start of the 20th century. Fellow Gambians, as part of the commemoration, anti-narcotic agencies, individuals, communities, and various NGOs and community-based organizations the world over engage in raising awareness on the problem that illicit drugs present to societies and mobilize support for scientifically proven evidence-based intervention, prevention, and treatment strategies. The theme for this year's commemoration is Better Knowledge for Better Care. Recently, the field of addressing the world drug problem has been plagued by misinformation of many kinds. The theme therefore emphasizes the need to improve the understanding of people on the world drug problem, to foster greater international cooperation for countering its impact on health, governance, and security.
The Minister of Interior there. Now, the Office of the Inspector General of Police wishes to inform the general public, especially residents of Brikama and its surroundings, that police will be conducting a firing exercise on Saturday, 27 June 2020 at Lance Corporal Lamin Bojang's firing range in Brikama between 700 hours and 1800 hours. In this regard, residents of this area are urged to stay away from the firing range during this period, as live ammunition will be used in the exercise. The Office of the IGP wishes to bring to the attention of the public that the exercise is part of the routine training of the police. Hence, there is no cause for panic. Therefore, to ensure general security and public safety, the Gambia Police Force entreats the public to stay away from the firing range during the exercise. Now, soldiers at the Yundum Barracks in the West Coast region were joined by Muslims in Yundum for the inauguration of a newly constructed mosque worth $1.2 million. Majan Baro has the details.
The new mosque named Musna Ibrahim Al-Dawsari is constructed at Yundum Barracks, measuring 15 by 15 meters and is worth $1.2 million. The initiative came about through sponsorship from a Muslim family in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Deputy Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces, Mama Cham, thanked Imam Suleiman Bojang, who brought the project to the military barracks and coordinated its finishing. According to Mr. Cham, the move is an obligation for soldiers to take their religion seriously, adding that it's a good sign to prove that soldiers are also believers of their creator.
The sponsors of this masjid, on behalf of the CDS, the Minister of Defense, and the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, for building such a very magnificent masjid for the benefit of our soldiers living in Yundum Barracks. I think basically our message has been to tell them on behalf of our leaders that we are grateful for them selecting this location to build this masjid.
All the speakers complimented Imam Suleiman Bojang and sponsors for the initiative and described the new mosque as a responsibility on all soldiers to take care of by simply performing their 5 daily prayers in the mosque and avoid any form of fight over its leadership. Imam Suleiman Bojang is the project coordinator.
Thanks to Allah and my partners in Saudi Arabia who funded the entire construction of this mosque. I also thank the Gambia Armed Forces for providing the space in this barracks, the contractor and all those who supported in any form towards the successful construction of the mosque. I am very happy.
Aissatou Jatta lauded the initiative, noting that it will now enable them to perform public prayers in a proper mosque.
Thank God, now we have a mosque, we can pray Monday to Thursday. Yeah, let them come and pray. When it is 2 o'clock, all of us will come and pray here. But when it is 5 o'clock and 7, those who are staying at the camp, they are the only person who can come and pray here. Yeah. So we urge them to take care about the mosque, and they look for mosque committee. Those who will know, they will take care about this mosque.
The newly inaugurated mosque in Union Barracks is now available for Muslims to perform their daily congregational prayers.
وقال ها هنا المنزل إن شاء الله.
Majan Baro, GRTS News.
That takes us to our first break. Sports news is up next when we return. Stay with us.
Your days of you have insufficient funds in your account are finally over.
The Colorado credit just reached an unbeatable level, raising the bar way beyond reach. With your new Colorado credit, you can continue your conversations with your loved ones with zero credit.
With your new Colorado credit, you can borrow credit to activate or purchase data, make calls, SMS Express, and the phone ring service.
Call or SMS 152 to get your Colorado credit and activate the service of your choice.
Where africell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, africell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, africell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where africell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Welcome back, and time for sports, which takes us to Liverpool, who are the new champions of England. Chelsea beat defending champions Manchester City 2-1 at Stamford Bridge to confirm the Merseyside Giants as new champions of the English Premier League. It ends the Reds' 30-year wait to be crowned champions. An hour after winning the league, supporters of the club gathered at the Reds' spiritual home at Anfield to mark the moment. CNN's Alex Thomas was there.
Liverpool's footballers celebrating a moment of history, the club's first Premier League title. Social media video shows them gathered to watch together as their closest challenge